Hey you guys, this is Jason here with Banna Properties, and I just wanted to make a quick video about how to vet a land company. So some of you maybe are looking to sell a piece of land and a land investor or a land company has reached out to you, someone possibly like myself, about buying this. They want to make a cash offer or buy your property from you, and you have that doubt. How do I know that they're legit? How do I know that they're not a scammer? That's a very important question. Maybe you're trying to buy a piece of property and you're talking to someone and looking at listings on the internet and you want to make sure that they're legit. I'm going to give you a few quick tips today about how to vet the land company themselves. In another video, I'll cover how to do your due diligence on a property you're going to buy. There's a few more steps, but in a few quick steps today, I want to talk about some things that you could look out for to make sure that you're talking to a legitimate company that is actually buying and selling land legally in the United States, not some scammer on the other side of the world. So things to look out for. The very first thing is pretty simple. If they are a legitimate land company, they're going to have an online presence. Now, I will say that this doesn't necessarily mean that if you Google them, they come up at the top of the list because people pay for Google ads to show up at the top. But somewhere online, they're going to have a presence, meaning they should have some sort of a buying website, a selling website, maybe in the signature line of their emails, or if you ask them about that, or wherever you're seeing the advertising, you should be able to find out about them. Maybe that website has star rankings, maybe it doesn't, but let's just quickly pull up here. I'll show you in my case. This is a website that I have for people that are trying to sell their properties. This website will probably come up if you Google Banna Properties because it's been out there for a few years. So it's been there for a while. You can see Banna Properties is right there. There's all the information, contact and whatnot. And you click here and this just takes you to a form that if you fill it out, will send me an email in order to receive your information about the property. On the other side, I have this website. This has my updated logo. It's a little bit newer website that I've built where we sell our properties. We offer properties that we are actually selling. You can see this here. Featured properties. There's a picture of myself here and my wife. It talks about us, and you can see that we are real people. All right. So other things to look out for. Another good sign would be reviews. So sometimes on the person's website or sometimes they have a Google review for the company. Now that is not the only thing to look out for because these things could be just faked or they could be manipulated, but they are good symbols to look out for initially. Another thing that's possibly a Better Business Bureau rating. Now I say possibly because not all land companies have Better Business Bureau ratings. The Better Business Bureau is actually a paid membership, so businesses have to pay to be a part of it, to be in their rating system. So many companies don't do that. I know myself, with my company, we are not in the Better Business Bureau because of this, just the continuing fees. We didn't think it was worth it. However, that is something you can look out for. It's not the only thing, but it is something, and it would be favorable, obviously, to have a good rating and see any reviews or any complaints that are there. Now, I've put these next three things in a little bit of darker, bolder letters because these are things that are non-negotiables. Those first three are good. They're positives in favor if they have them, but there are solid land companies that don't have them. However, these last three are non-negotiables. So if you're looking to vet a land company, you need to make sure that these last three all work out. So you're going to talk to a real person. And this might be a phone conversation. You might call. I know, for instance, I have a call center that accepts many of our initial calls, but then I call back people myself. Another thing is you can oftentimes reach out through an email. Somehow you're having a conversation with a real person, and you're going to know that you're talking to a real person and not a scammer in Nigeria once you get into the conversation. And then another symbol of that is professional communication. So it's not sounding, the person that's calling you and talking about it, they're a professional. in our communication. We're courteous, we're kind, we do our very best to use good grammar, and it's a professional, whether it's by email, which I use for a lot of my communication with people selling their land, or on the phone. We're going to be professional in the treatment of you. We're not some scammer on the street, and that's something important to look out for. Usually the red flags are very visible when you're talking to someone that's not legit right away in the communication and in how that's framed. And then the very important, these are probably the top thing that you need to make sure to check, and I'm going to show you today on this video how to check them yourself, is a certificate of good standing. You can request this from the company. If you have any doubts, ask them for a certificate of good standing for their corporation, their LLC or S Corp, or however they're organized in the state that their company is organized. Certificate of good standing, and you're going to check the Secretary of State company lookup. Okay, so I'm going to give you a quick example of what this looks like. So my company, Banna Properties LLC, we are organized in the state of Wyoming. Now, many times a land company like ourselves are organized in one state, and we buy and sell land in many other states. So we don't only buy and sell land in Wyoming, we buy and sell land in dozens of other states. That's perfectly normal, but there is a state where that company calls home and has been organized legally, and they keep up that organization and stay in good standing with that state. So a simple question you could ask if you have any doubts or you're trying to verify a land company is what state is your corporation or your company organized in? And they should be able to tell you that. You can ask them to provide you with a certificate of good standing. Very rarely do scammers even know what this is or take the time to try to make one of these. This is something that's requested from the state. It has the state seal on it, and is given to a company that is organized within that state. So quick look at it here. It just says Banna Properties LLC, limited liability company. You can see here that we were organized under the laws of Wyoming in 2017, and the duration is perpetual. And you can see the seal here and the Secretary of State's signature. Now, you might say to me, that's great, Jason, I've taken these steps, but I want to go one step further, and I want to verify with the Secretary of State. I want to make sure that they didn't falsify this document. They're not trying to pull the wool over my eyes. Good for you. I applaud you for that, for your thoroughness. So it's very simple. You're going to go to Google. In this case, you want to look up my company. Here's the Wyoming Secretary of State Business Search. Okay, so you can just go ahead, Wyoming Secretary of State Business Search. Here you can see Texas, Nevada, Montana, all these others show up. Whatever state that the land company in question claims they're organized in, you go ahead and you can just search for that. And the first thing to pop up here is Business Entity Search, Wyoming Secretary of State. Okay, so you can go ahead and click on that button, and it will take us to the Wyoming Secretary of State's website. We just make sure it's the real government website. It is .gov. Okay, and we're going to search. So we're going to go ahead and search for Banna Properties LLC, which is what shows up on my websites and everything, because that's our legal business name. Now, there are businesses that have one legal business name, and then they have a DBA, or a doing business as name as well. So you could possibly look up that as well. And then I just click search. Okay, and I've already actually done that here, and this is what happens when you click search. It pops up with all the matching active companies. You can see Banna Properties LLC right here. Now it already tells us tax standing is good and the company standing is good and the status is active. So it also tells us when it was started, which was 2017. So we know that my company has been around for 4 years, that it's still active. We didn't, dissolve a couple years ago and are doing business falsely. We're standing is good with the state, meaning that it's not in litigation, there's not some other problem and the state has had an issue with, and that we're not owing a bunch of back taxes to the state that we haven't paid. But once you click this, it will actually pop up this window and you can see these details even clearer. So here it is, the name of the company, the filing ID, the type of the company. And you can see here that it's active and current, the filing date, term or duration. Someone could possibly set up a company that's supposed to last for a year. In some commercial real estate deals, just for a deal, they'll set up the company and then they'll dissolve it. That's not the case here with us. And you can see our tax standing, our other standings are all good. Now, if the company has a doing business as or a DBA, it will say under here fictitious name. So let's say I was doing business as Get Land in the USA or Great Land or some other name, then it would show up here. I would file that and it would show up here, and that way you would know that you're looking at the right company. Okay, and you can see some other additional details and things here which aren't necessarily needed for this initial search, but this quick search, which takes you about 5 to 10 minutes, tells you that they are a company in good standing in the state of organization and that they're still active and in good standing. And it's always a good thing to take your time and search. And always you can check out the online presence and the certificate of good standing and all of those things. Okay, I hope that these tips can help you in your search to verify or vet a land or an investing company. If you're looking to sell land, please fill out the form on our website. We would love to take a look at your property and give you a cash offer within 24 hours on that property. In any other way that we can help you, we hope that we can, and we hope that you have great success in selling or buying the land of your dreams. Thank you so much.